Hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Darksage Walker, and in a very different twist of fate, I actually have a bit of a build recommendation for you guys to try. And this one is actually a very simple concept, but it comes from a previous build that I had put together, and then I started thinking, why don't I try to turn this into something a little bit different? So, what we're going to do here is we're setting up specific... Hold on while I adjust my chair a little bit here. Please stop. What we're doing is we're setting up very specific arcana to be used in a... pardon me. To be used not necessarily in a specific way, but with a very specific goal in mind. And the idea is to use strictly heavy damage arcana like these that have a nice range and an explosion at the end. The idea is to essentially use volcanic rock to keep your enemies at bay, and then if they get too close, you've got wave front to act as a shield and to push them back. And then as for your basic, you essentially want to choose from either a wind or an electric basic, and I personally say go with air spinner for that, get off me vibe. As far as the robe, I personally recommend tempo. This makes sure that your cooldowns are kept low, and then we're going to take Captain's Ring. Now, I personally like Captain's Ring setups. I'm sure you've noticed that about my playstyle by now. But there you go, nice little volcanic rock setup, and I'm going to demonstrate how this bad boy works. And I don't really need anywhere specific to start. Suppose if I were to start anywhere, I would start fighting Zeal just to make sure that I got that out of the way. That was not what I wanted to do. Alright, so the my first two opponents are going to be resisting my my signature, and that's so you already can see kind of how this works, but remember, the first thing you're going to want to do, or one of the highest priority things you're going to want to do, is power up Knockout Boulder, because without the power-up, it doesn't actually have much of an area of effect. But yeah, you can see a single fireball is currently hitting for 56. And hey, how about I don't take that? But I changed my mind because that is a lightning arcana, and that's going to maximize the strength of the Captain's Ring. As you can see, the fireball is now doing 58. And if we come over here, unfortunately, Iris isn't being too helpful. Wrong set of arcana, you hateful bitch. And then one of the bonuses of Knockout Boulder is that it's actually got a nice high stun value. So, Ward of Lightning is kind of awkward, but it's getting the job done. I would much rather have just about any other... Hold on. I would rather have just about any other Electric Arcana, but trust me when I say this isn't doing a bad job. Well, that was pointless. Why would you set up a fire trap that leads to nothing? Zeal, you're not making sense right now. And you don't go full chaotic neutral without a reason. Okay, so we're gonna take the Relic Rewards card, and we're gonna take the Jewelry Box. Everything else can just kind of, thin on the ground. Ow. Alright, so far so good. And we've got the old wind shotgun. I don't know how I feel about that. It's a freebie, but if it's gonna... I just realized it's probably gonna make it take longer to get the upgraded knockout boulder. Yay! So... Now, another thing to remember is that you don't have to come in here with Air Spinner. My recommendation for your basic is just whatever air or electric-based Arcana you really like. If you could do this with Volt Rail or Volt Disc if you wanted to, I just chose Air Spinner because I like the idea of having the full-on coverage of having another get-off-me option. There we go. Looking sharp. So as you can see, the problem with a non-upgraded knockout boulder is that it only ever hits a single target, no matter what. So we would like to, that's why we want an upgraded knockout boulder to correct that problem as soon as possible. But you can't really ever control what Iris decides. And if she decides that she wants to offer you something completely different from what you're building around, well, sometimes you just have to bite the bullet. Alright, so I'm hoping that we can take Arcana upgrades to our advantage here. And yes, you are seeing that correctly. The upgraded Ward of Lightning is actually... Okay, good. So she is offering to upgrade Knockout Boulder. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to come in here. We're going to give Dr. Song an Arcana, which is probably going to be Knockout Boulder. Sweet. Thank you, Doctor. You're the best. Now we can come over here and get Knockout Boulder, which now explodes in shrapnel, which is also good for controlling space. A little bit more crowd control never hurt anybody. And it still hits just as hard as before. Alright, so we're going to take that. And we're going to take that. I'd like to, so just to point it, just to kind of get the obvious out of the way, yes, this is kind of an unga bunga build. Especially now that I look like a bear. But don't let that put you off. Sometimes unga bunga is one of the best ways to get things done. And there we go. And look at that fadeaway rhythm. Sweet, I don't care. Probably not even going to use it. Now, the whole point of taking this robe combination with Captain's Ring is to make sure that we had both generous cooldowns and some extra power coming our way. Now, you could also emulate that by taking the... Let's see, this gives you a cooldown reduction of 15. If you're willing to go a slightly lower cooldown reduction, you could always use the Fool Robe and start with Roxel's Pendulum. I just thought this would be a slightly better choice because you get a little bit more uptime with your spells, and I just broke one of the cardinal rules of this game. Which is when you need to retreat, do so in a direction you've already been. If you're doing so in a direction you haven't been, there's the chance that you're going to aggro another group of enemies and make your situation a little bit more untenable. Alright, Air Spinner Basic is also kind of a big deal. Beautifully done. And of course, depending on the relics that you find and the extra arcana that you find, you could have a very different experience. Hence is the point of the roguelite genre. But so far, I'm hoping that you are kind of seeing what it is that I have going on here. Alright. Now, the two best things you have right now are Wallet of Splendor and Mercenary's Dagger. Wallet of Splendor will be more enabling. Mercenary's Dagger is more damage, but at the cost of gold. See, I'm not 100% sure which one would be better right now, because some of the best damage ups are actually through Nox, but there are things that can be purchased to really help out. Let's see. Not the biggest fan of Magnetic Breakers. Do I want to use that in place of Gust Volley? I was also kind of hoping for something a little bit more fire-based, but oh well. Then the Arcana choices, or at least the element choices, were meant for maximum coverage, and also to make sure that that Captain's Ring went off. So, even though it doesn't really matter where you start, because the idea is supposed to be you'll get enough coverage from what you're carrying, there is always the chance that what you're starting with will have a couple of overlaps, and that's why I wanted to start at Zeal, to get those overlaps just done and over with. Okay, so nothing there is really catching my fancy. And what's working out in my favor right now is that the upgraded Ward of Lightning actually powers up the Boulder. Like, not specifically the Boulder, just, you know, Earth Elemental Arcana. Now, I believe you can read that. Yep. Ward area is increased and also increases Earth damage done in the area, so... Ray. And it doesn't work if you just miss like an idiot, though. I don't really want the scissors. And yes, it's a revival chance, but you have to give up all of your standards to do it. I don't know. I'm a little iffy on that. Now, I'm going to take a chance because I do have a Midas relic. I'm thinking that's going to make a difference, especially if I take a couple of intentional hits to build up some gold. Now remember, they only charge you. They only charge you to use standard Arcana. I am not smart. So try to take advantage of that as much as possible, though ideally you want to be picking up Mercenary's Dagger later in the run when you don't have to worry about money so much. Ugh. Right, let's save our money, especially since we need to use some of it to cast our other spells. I want to see what is available from Anders. Fantastic. Now with a good projectile build, you can always aggro enemies from a distance and then walk into all of their attacks and feel dumb. Just remember that second part is, I mean, it's almost almost mandatory of the build. Like, you have to walk into their attacks and then feel stupid afterwards. It's like not even an option. Nocturne. So I could gamble Gust Volley, especially since the upgraded version is there in case I want it. So let's see what we end up with. I mean, no question we've got to go with Bouncing Surge. Then, do I take on the outset? Because at this point, I have plenty of things to control space. I think Dragon Blast is what we're going to end up rolling with. Hello, Cartographer's Quill. Now, this is not the most ideal place to take Cartographer's Quill, but it will still work out nicely. It's still extra damage. And because we have Arcana that have high damage points, every little bit will help out. Okay, well that was not cool or fair. So on the upside, Tears of Midas are making sure that I have plenty of gold to use for the dagger. On the downside, I am kind of getting beat up a little bit. Oh, thanks, Jar. Thank you. That's exactly what was supposed to happen there. But as an aside, I dislike that room anyway. Not a big fan of the, like, dark energy Cyclops monsters, and that room is all about those jerks. So hopefully by now you can kind of see what the run is all about. I feel it's come together quite nicely. Like, even with me complaining about Ward of Thunder, it's still working out quite well. Beautiful. Ooh, my rocket ship. I always did have a soft spot for my rocket ship. Alright. So build has come together quite nicely at this point. already said that a few times. Ah! Oh no! There we go. See, Unga Bunga tribe knows how to get stuff done. And I'm pretty sure... I know I bought the dragons, but this is probably going to be more effective. Pardon me. Here we go. Now, the Ward of Lightning setup will be more useful later on, but... But for this level, I think Blazing Bolt is going to be a bit more appropriate. Now, for those of you who are potentially wondering where I'm getting this whole Unga Bunga tribe thing from, that's a joke that we like to use in Monster Hunter for, essentially, hammer and greatsword users. It's gonna work out well with the surefire rocket, you'll see. There is a secondary path, but it's close to the beginning, so fuck it. Even though I have the window closed, I can still hear that train clearly. Hopefully you guys aren't being too badly bothered by it, but I mean, I have ears that are very perceptive to things, and that a train coming by definitely perks my attention. Also, new Blazing Bolt is pretty beast, gotta say. See, Air Spinner doesn't care where the enemy is standing. So long as you're within that range, you're getting pelted. It's one of my favorites for a reason. And once again, we're going to come back to one of my favorite words when it comes to a game like this. It offers consistency. Often the most important thing you can have in a game where just about everything is left up to chance is some sort of consistency. Oh, and you're a mimic. Bet you think you're cool, don't you? Yeah, that's what you get. I am going to choose to prioritize my wallet, because even though I normally am a big fan of upgrading my robe... Oh wait, I also have the not mercenaries. I also have... Yeah, we're just going to upgrade the robe. So we'll have greater run speed and greater cooldowns. And when I say greater, I mean greater cooldown reduction. Heh, save that one. I didn't say the wrong thing, you did. But Dark Sage, I wasn't even talking. Grown-ups are talking right now. There we go. Looking pretty solid. I also gotta admit, I did choose the tempo rope because I typically choose either Awe or Rule or Venture in just about every scenario. So this build was also designed for me to go, okay, I use these robes way too often. I need to design something for one of the other robes that I really like but rarely ever use. And that's the thing, I really do like the movement speed and the cooldown reduction of the tempo robe. So it's kind of my own fault that I don't use it very often. Ow. Who do you think you are, boy? Now, the last bit of this is Wavefront, which was chosen just one, partially because it's an arcana of a different element, and that works well for the captain ring. But also, Wavefront... Now, a lot of people don't know this, but I suspect some people don't know this, I'm not going to say a lot. But Wavefront actually is a shield. Like, if you read the description of Wavefront, race forward while enveloped in a watery globe that briefly shields you. In other words, you can dash through attacks with the Wavefront and come out the other side just fine. It's another kind of semi-advanced damage reduction technique. Now, it typically does require you to have a decent amount of practice, but as I've said many times before, practice makes perfect. Ooh, I do like binary splashdown. But I've kind of committed myself to sticking with what I have, and I'm going to do that. And when I say that, I mean I've kind of committed myself to sticking to the Ward of Lightning. I said I would hold on to it for the... Wait a minute, there's a portal up there. I said I would hang on to it for the final level, and I am a person of my word. Real talk, though, in any situation where you haven't promised something silly, take binary splashdown. It's so good. How dare you? Remember, because of the ancient fountain pen, every time we use our charge signature, it gets stronger. whether it hits anything or not. Just anytime my signature gets charged, I kind of just want to launch it. Here we go. Alright, not bad, not bad. So now we still need to find the red portal and the boss room. One of those was very easy to find. You literally just kind of stumbled upon it, as if by fate itself. I like how it just kind of poofed out of existence after it fell. Poof. And this would be antithetical to the jewelry box, which we've been using for enhanced survival. You know, I don't think I'm going to take anything. I would normally take the pewter bracelet, but I've also been using this for enhanced recovery, and also late game pewter bracelet, and that's kind of addictive. Pewter bracelet is one of those things you definitely want to come across earlier rather than later. There we go. That's 100%. And that brings our quill up to plus 12. Which, remember, because the base damage for both the boulder and the fireball are 50, all it takes is 2% to get that up another full point of damage. Okay, I am apparently not good at playing and talking at the same time. Can you go away, you arrow-slinging menace? Okay. Remember, I want to keep a healthy amount of gold to make sure that Mercenary's Dagger doesn't suddenly just fall off a cliff. Pardon me. Or, in other words, to make sure that my damage doesn't fall off a cliff. Okay, well, there goes all my health. Yeah, the whole point of how Shu fights is that he wants to make it so that you spend a lot of time being staggered, so that he can hit you with a lot of multiple hit or combo. And we've got Bouncing Surge to deal with these guys. Alright, I've taken a lot of unfortunate damage. I have to have my fairy friend by my side. Are you kidding me? It just wouldn't do to not have my little sylph with me. Mostly because I don't know how much money it typically costs to fight Sura. I'm just gonna go. But if you're not worried about cash, the smart move there would have been to drop the teddy bear face and pick up the Megalodon tooth. There we go. And 91 damage fireball, not bad. I've had higher before, but that's still good. Alright. Yeah, I kind of knew I was going to get punished for that one, but if you ask me, worth it. Also, see what I mean by the idea that it can absorb an attack? Remember, Wavefront is a shield. It will help you. Even if it does so only by accident. Would you rather accidentally get hit in the face for another 25 damage? Or would you rather accidentally block the attack and counterattack with a nice big ball of water? Just saying. So there you go, there's my volcanic rock setup. It's a very good, just kind of straight up high damage unga bunga setup, and hopefully you guys enjoy using that. And I think tomorrow I will be using someone else's recommendation. So thank you guys very much for watching, I appreciate the support. Drop me a comment, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel. Links to my social media will be in the description below. Don't be afraid to drop new recommendations for builds, and also, don't forget to leave submissions for songs that you'd like to see translated into runs for Wizard of Metal. I know that there's a little bit of contention over why are you doing this with metal music, and perhaps I've already explained in YouTube comments, perhaps I'll explain on my Discord and in an actual video. Because there is more to it than just I love sharing what I love. Which, to be fair, that should be enough. I just love sharing the things that I love. So, anyway, that's enough rambling from me. Again, thank you guys very much. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and I will be seeing you.